How you doing? Sorry, I'm slumped over here in the corner, but I'm not ready to be civil yet. But I don't want you to miss any court, so we'll get the court started, and then I'm continuing my break. I'm not. I'm not ready to be civil and appear on stream yet. But justice waits for nobody or something. I don't know. So I'm just gonna be off here in the corner for a while. Hope that's okay with you guys. All right, let's see. What am I trying to do right now? All right. Oh. Yep, court's not back yet, so I'm glad I rushed that. How you doing, guys? Yeah, put your hat on and nap like a cowboy. Not the worst idea I've ever heard of in my life. Yeah. My chicken soup on rice thing was good though. It's still a good dish. So I had the same dish I've been having for a couple days. That's why I make it in bulk so I can kind of have the same thing for a couple days. So for lunch it was just the same chicken soup thing that I made previously on rice as one does. Oh yeah, I heard that there was a motion to revoke Turtle Boy's bond. I heard that too. I don't know anything about that obviously, and I don't know what that's based on. It seems like a lot. But yeah, if anything happens, anything of note happens in Turtle Boy land, someone can keep me posted. Uh, I slept actually pretty decently last night, but I'm still pretty tired. Apparently, this is dead M mass. Are you sure it's not dead ass? Yeah, dead ham mass is just dead ass, right? This trial is happening in dead ass. Is that how we? Does that work? Kind of works as a joke. The Norfolk counties in Russia. There might be a Norfolk County in Russia. Who knows? Does Russia have counties? I don't know. I don't know how Russians uh, delineation of sub geographic areas works. Does Russia have counties? Probably not. They're probably something else. What does Russia have? That's actually a good question. What does Russia have? What is their organizational structure in terms of whatever? Cabe looks like a Puck's pixelated puppet. There's a Moscow in Scotland. I think there's a Moscow in Texas. I know there's a Paris in Texas. I believe there's a Moscow in Texas too. I could double check, but I think that's right. Let's find out. Is there a Moscow, Texas? Moscow, Texas. Yep, sure is. It's in Polk County. It has a population of 170. All right. Is the fan feed up yet? It is not. Is there a Sydney, Texas? There is a Sydney, Texas. It's an unincorporated community, but there is a Sydney, Texas. Interesting. It has a population of 196. We've got all the cool places, man. Is there a London, Texas? There is a London, Texas. Population 180. We got all the capitals, man. We got everything. We got all the places. We're great. Do we have a Christmas in Texas? Let's find out. No. No, we do not have a Christmas, Texas. I guess we're not that cool. Istanbul, Texas? Ooh, yeah. Is your uh there's an Istanbul grill and bar in Plano, which isn't exactly the same thing, but it's something. Do I think AJ's going on too long about unimportant points? Yep, I've made that criticism before. Yes, very much so. Palestine? I think there actually is a Palestine, Texas. Yeah, there's a Palestine, Texas. Yep. Population 19,372. Yeah, we got a Palestine. We got one of those. Hell, Michigan? You better believe you got a Hell, Michigan. Yeah. Don't you guys have a Kokomo, or is it what is it in Michigan is it Kokomo, Michigan, or am I thinking of something else? India's Kokomo. What is it that I'm thinking of? Is there a Timbuktu in Michigan? No, it's Kalamazoo that's in Michigan, right? Kalamazoo's in Michigan. That's what I'm thinking of, right? Kalamazoo, Michigan? And Timbuktu is in Africa, right? Kalamazoo? Okay, that was what I was trying to get to. All right, yeah. Okay, Kalamazoo was what I was thinking of. All right, cool. All right. I remember some things. Spinny Fan's up? Not on my feed, it's not. I'm being deprived of Spinny Fan as we speak, man. Oh, no, you're right. It's back. One moment, please. Course back. Talk amongst yourselves. Way down in Kokomo. Take it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down in Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Here I go, Montego, baby, wanna be go. do, do, do. Do, do, ba, 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 ba. Michigan has a Wyoming and an Alaska. That's kind of cool. I don't have any sound. Is it me? Or is it just not sound from the courtroom? Hopefully it's not me. Yeah, it might be me. Who knows? The way my day is going. It's been a day, man. It's been a day. What other songs would you like me to sing poorly while we're waiting? I'm taking requests at karaoke hour here. Roxanne, Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne. That was shit. That was shit. If you can't laugh at yourself, man, you're just not having a good day, man. Oh, man.
All right, sorry about the delay, jurors. We were told that we blew a fuse, and that's why we couldn't get started on time. So these old...
You and me both, baby. You and me both.
courthouses. So, all right, we appreciate your patience. Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McCabe, when you first saw Ms. Reed's SUV pull up, very shortly thereafter, you sent a text to John O'Keefe, correct?
I walked to the door, saw the car, and that's when I sent him a text, yes.
Right. So you walked up to the door, saw the SUV outside, and then texted him something at that, basically while you're standing at the door.
I believe so, yes.
What did you text him?
Here?
Okay. That was, do you remember the time?
I don't know.
Would it refresh your recollection if you were to look at a series of text messages contained in a Celebrate report? I think you've seen this before.
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. May I ask one foundational question before
Okay.
I give this to the witness? Ms. McCabe, I'm going to ask you about a series of text messages. It's not a memory contest in terms of the timing. I'm going to ask you about probably 5 or so. All of those purport to be contained in here. Do you remember the times of those 5 texts?
I don't off the top of my head.
Do you think it would refresh your recollection to look at all those in one felled swoop as you look at this document? So I don't have to go back and forth?
Are these in evidence?
This is not in evidence to my knowledge. Not yet.
Would it help you to remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roxanne!
Okay.
You don't have to put on the red light.
Thank you.
Roxanne! Put on the red light.
This one is. Yeah, I just think this one.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Ms. McCabe, if you wouldn't mind, take a look at the tabs, not that whole document, it's two days. Take a look at the tabs and go in reverse chronological order and see if that refreshes your recollection about the time and content of text messages that you sent to Mr. O'Keefe those early that early morning of January 29th.
Okay.
This is kind of comfortable. I think I'm just going to lean back for a while. This is kind of comfortable.
May I?
This isn't so bad.
I'm not going to have to remember the exact times of all 5, am I?
I'll help.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McCabe, did you see a text on here that was consistent with your memory that you texted here?
Yes.
And was that at 12:14, I'm sorry, at 12:27 a.m.?
I don't know if exactly, I'm assuming if it's on that paper.
All right, I got another one. Got another Bible reference.
I mean,
I'm changing Bible references, guys.
Why don't I see counsel at sidebar for just a minute?
There we go. Yeah, Bible references, I think is where it's at for a while. I think we can do Bible references for a while. We're doing another sidebar. Sidebar. Lilith is not technically in the Bible, that's true. All right, Bible adjacent.
Ms. McCabe, we're going to make it a little easier for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
May I?
Yes.
Okay, I got another one. I got another one.
At 12:14:27 on January 29th, 2022, text message from Jen McCabe to, text message from John O'Keefe's phone to Jen McCabe's phone, where to?
There you go.
12:27.
That's pretty
All
good.
These are on January 29th,
a good one.
2022 at 12:27:33 from Jennifer McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Here, exclamation point, question mark. Same date, 12:31 and 47 seconds from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Pull behind me. Same date, 12:40 and 31 seconds from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Hello. 12:42 and 9 seconds. Text message from Jennifer McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Where are the letter U?
Okay, thank you.
Finally, 12:45 and 53 seconds from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Hello. I would offer the stipulation that those are correct times and dates and contents of the text messages between John O'Keefe's phone and Jennifer McCabe's phone on January 29, 2022.
All right, and that's what you're agreeing to, Mr. Brennan?
Yes, Your Honor, it's contained in the Celebrate report.
Okay. All right, folks, so I told you yesterday about a stipulation when I talked about something in the front lawn. This is similar. So what you just heard, both lawyers agree that that's information contained in his Celebrate report.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I continue?
Yes.
At some point, you indicated
Okay,
that...
this is good.
And by the way,
Who was this?
Ms.
Let's
McCabe, at 12:27, it's now been stipulated to, you texted a single word, here, exclamation point, question mark, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You indicate that you saw the SUV move up after it was in front of the 34 Fairview residence. It moved up some number of feet, correct?
All right, let's give this one a shot.
It was at a different location.
Right. Now, you did not see the white
right,
Jeep
I got another one.
from the place that you originally saw it in front of the mailbox, correct?
I never looked out at the white Jeep.
But you never saw that move, ever. As a matter of fact, Mr. Higgins, in the same spot while Mr. Higgins was inside the residence until he left, correct?
That's what I would assume, yes.
Okay. And you never saw him go out and move his car and come back in or anything like that?
I never did, no.
After you, it's fair to say that once you noted that the SUV, Ms. Reed's SUV, was in front of the location, you started paying some attention to it.
I went to the door a few times to look out, yes.
As a matter of fact, in the course of about 19 minutes, you went to the door no fewer than 5 times, correct?
I'm not sure if it was 5.
You've indicated previously that for every time you went to the door and saw the SUV, you texted something, which are the texts contained in the document that was just stipulated to. Is that right?
I did text 5 times, you are correct.
Okay. So it's fair to say if you texted 5 times, then you went to the door 5 times, if those were associated with one another. You walk up, look at the door, see the SUV, and text something. Here, pull behind me, where are you? Those texts, correct?
I remember going to the front door, seeing the car, and texting here. When I went to the door the second time, the car had moved up towards the flagpole, and I texted, pull behind me, because I thought, did they not know where to park? Did they think they were at the wrong house?
So my question is this. Every time you went to the door, you texted something.
I'm not sure that I did, yes.
Do you remember
I'm not sure that I did, sorry.
Do you remember a year ago testifying that every single time you texted, you indicated that you looked out at the SUV and saw something that prompted you to text something.
Am I aware that I said that?
Correct, that you
Could you-
testified to that.
Could you show that to me, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Take a look at the highlighted
Sure.
portion. And
Oh, no, I got another one.
when you're
Got another one.
finished.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't know if it's necessarily the biggest winner, but it works.
Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection about the issue we were just talking about?
I see what's written down, yes.
Okay. Did you testify in answer to the following question? And as a matter of fact, you looked every single time that you texted, you indicated that you looked out at the SUV and saw something that prompted you to text something, correct? Answer, correct.
I answered correct to that,
Okay.
yes.
So if you looked out, I'm sorry, if you texted 5 times, that's all I'm getting to, you went to the door about 5 times.
I'm not sure. I remember definitely going twice. And again, if I misstated or I said I went 5 times, 4 times, I apologize.
Well, do you think this testimony is in error?
No, I don't. I'm thinking with my memory, it was 3 years ago, and I'm thinking that maybe I wasn't clear on that detail of how many times that I went to the door.
And
What I
certainly-
can tell you I'm clear on is that I did go twice, and I saw it. I saw it straight ahead. I saw it at the flagpole, and a third time further up. I cannot say with certainty, with my memory today, that I was up at that door every single time. I'm sorry.
And then, and by the way, when you testified, as you just saw, that was a year ago, correct?
Yes.
A year earlier and a year closer to the event, correct?
Yes, it
So
was.
your memory would have been a little bit fresher then than it is now, a year later.
I don't think I can compare my memory then to now.
All right.
You can't compare your memory. Do you think your memory gets better with time or fades a
sometime-
little with time?
Well, some things, unfortunately, I think about every single day with this case, the trauma of
Sure.
it and what I experienced and went through. And there are some things that I am certain I will never forget. And I know for sure where the car was, and I know for sure I sent those 2 texts. But I apologize if I misstated. I went up more than I did. I'm just trying to give you what I remember today.
Let's talk about those texts and and you looking out the door. You did approach the door and you saw that the vehicle was there the initial time, correct? That's 1.
When I texted here, yes,
And you texted here, exclamation point, question mark. Is that right?
correct.
And you indicated that when you first saw the vehicle, it was straight out ahead of you in front of the front door, and it was stationary. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Then you said you went back to the door and you saw that it had moved up, quote, a little bit. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Toward the flagpole. Is that right?
Was at the flagpole, yes.
And when you saw that it had moved up toward the flagpole, then you texted again at 12:40, which has been stipulated to hello. Is that right?
When I saw it move up to the flagpole, I believe I texted pull behind me.
When you went the second time, and by the way, it's my mistake. I got I jumped over 1. It was 12:31:47, which we stipulated to pull behind me.
All right, I got
That's
another
when
one.
the SUV
I got another
got
one.
Closer to the flagpole, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Then you went yet again at 12:40 and saw the SUV yet again.
Yep, that
and
works.
texted hello. It was the second hello.
I'm not sure if that was when I texted hello.
But you did see that the SUV had moved again.
Yes.
Now where was it?
At first, it was straight ahead. Then it was at the flagpole, and then it was further up.
Then at 12:42, 2 minutes later, you texted, "Where are you?" Correct?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, it was still up by the flagpole.
No, I'm not saying that it was still outside.
Where was it?
I'm not sure where the vehicle was.
At 12:45, you texted yet again, "Hello." Is that right?
Yes, I did.
You've indicated that was you texted hello the last time you saw the vehicle. Is that right?
I'm not saying that today, no.
Well, did you say it previously?
In my testimony, did I say that the last time I texted? Do you have that written that I could see?
You just read it.
Well, that was your question that you had read to me. I never came out and said that.
Ms. McCabe, I asked you if you testified to that a year ago. That's my question. Did you testify to that a year ago, that when you went, every single time you went to the door, you texted something because seeing the vehicle prompted you to text something to John?
That's a summary of maybe the,
Did you testify to that a year ago?
to what? That when I went to the door? Yeah, different times when I went to the door, I did text, yes.
And then you testified as well that you went to the door a final time and saw that the SUV was gone. It had left, correct?
Yes, at one point I did.
And that was just a couple of minutes after your last text at 12:45, is that right?
I'm not sure of the time.
Matter of fact, you've testified previously that it was around 12:50 that you last went to the door and noted that the car was completely gone. Is that right?
I'm not sure of that.
You're not sure of that?
No, if you could show me, I'd appreciate it.
At some point, did you note that the vehicle was gone? Let's get to that.
Yes,
Around what time was that?
I do not know.
12:45, a little before, a little after?
I'm not sure. I can't give a time.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at how you testified to that particular time last year?
Sure.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. The highlighted portion,
Thank you.
Ms. McCabe?
Got another one. Got another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection as to what time last year you indicated that you went to the door and saw that the SUV was gone?
It says on the paper that I was asked if after 12:45 it was gone, and I answered correct.
Okay.
I never gave a time.
All right. And that coincides with the last hello
With an
you
E,
texted to
thank
John's
you.
phone, correct?
Again, I don't have that paper in front of me. Is that the
Well,
time?
that's the stipulation. That's what you don't need to worry about
Okay.
that. That's been stipulated to. Your last hello text was at 12:45.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So that coincides, that testimony from last year coincides with your last text message saying hello.
Thank you for the correction
noted that
spelling.
The SUV at that point had gone. Had left. Correct?
Correct.
So if I hear your testimony correctly, you saw the SUV in position 1.
Yes.
There was a text or something, or 2 maybe. Then you saw it in position 2. You went back to the door and noted that SUV had moved and it was now closer to the flagpole, correct?
We've just asked two questions.
It had moved closer to the flagpole.
First question is, you said I saw it and I sent a text or two. I know I just said one here.
Oh, I got a good one.
Then you saw it.
How do I phrase this?
Correct.
Oh, I got a
now
good
it's
one.
Closer to the flagpole.
Yes, correct.
And there's texting going on. I'm not getting down to the minute of the text, but there's texting going on. You're sending texts.
I'm sending, yes.
Okay. Then you went back to the door a third time and saw that it had moved beyond the flagpole, correct?
Did you call this person a villain?
Then, according to your testimony last year, you went back to the door at least a fourth time to see that it was gone, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so at bare minimum, based on your testimony today, you were at the door, looking out the window at that portion of either the yard directly in front of you, and in front of the house, or toward the flagpole, or beyond the flagpole, 4 times, correct?
From last year's testimony, but what I remember today
No,
with
Ms. McKay, that's not
certainty
my
is
question.
twice.
You need to let her answer the question. Answer your question, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I remember certainty is looking at it out front at the flagpole and beyond. I don't remember how many times I went up to the door. I was back and forth.
Right. But according to you, you saw the car in
Surely there must be a couple Next Generation fans for which this joke is working. Can't be the only one, right?
3 different positions, correct?
Correct.
So that's at least 3 times through the door, correct?
Correct.
And you saw the car gone, right?
Correct.
3 plus 1 is 4, correct?
Correct.
So now you're telling us that you went to the door a minimum of 4 times and looked across that yard at the SUV, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Is the video off in my audio? Hopefully not. Is it off? Is it off? Hopefully not. Please tell me no. It wasn't a particularly good episode of Next Generation. It's a very forgettable episode of Next Generation, but you know, it is what it is. It seems unsynced, out of sync. Yes, it is. It's good here. Some people say it's out of sync. Some people say it's not out of sync. Yeah, it was a black blob. Yeah, I know. Okay, it's not working for some people. Okay, all right, fair. All right, out of sync. It is out of sync. The video view is sync, but the cord is out of sync. The cord is out of sync. Interesting. Shouldn't be, but let's reset it and see if it makes a difference.
No.
No loud voices,
No.
no foul language.
No.
You didn't hear a door slam.
No.
You didn't hear a verbal argument or a fight of any kind.
No.
You didn't hear a revving engine.
No.
You didn't hear the squealing of tires or the scraping of tires on the pavement.
No.
You didn't hear a collision take place.
No.
Or a crash.
No.
Or screams for help.
No.
Moaning, groaning, as if someone was in distress.
No.
As you looked at the SUV the first time, you've already indicated that you had a clear view straight out the door, right? It's right in front of the front door as a crow flies, right? It's not at an angle.
Right there. Correct.
Okay. You also previously indicated that you saw tire tracks in the roadway.
Yes.
In that very, very light dusting of snow, the accumulation that you talked about, you saw tire tracks of some sort.
Yes.
So that's down on the ground, beyond the yard, somewhere in the roadway.
In the street. Correct.
You had a good view of those tire tracks as well, correct?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you were able to describe those as sort of almost a wave, I think you once said.
Yeah, across the street. I could see it because of the street light that was across the street.
Okay, and that presented at least enough illumination based on your view. You could see the
Let's try
tire
something
tracks in the
else.
snow.
Yes, over to the left, yes.
And you've detailed not just the shape of those tire tracks as being sort of like a wave, but where those tire tracks were.
Let's see if that one works for people.
No, with this, yeah.
Where did you see them?
I believe over to the left, if I'm looking out straight. Oh, sorry. Straight.
So if you're looking outside at the SUV, I'm just going to turn my back to the jurors for a second for perspective. If you're looking outside the door, when you say straight out, the SUV is straight outside. When you say to the left, you mean to the left of the SUV on the ground. That's where you saw the tire tracks.
Yes.
Like somebody might parallel park or something.
Kind of a wave, yeah. I can't really explain what it was. I just saw it.
You weren't paying special attention. You weren't looking for tire tracks, were you?
No, when I glanced out, I saw it.
You weren't looking for anything in the roadway at that point. You just glanced out. There was something in your peripheral vision, and you made note of it.
Yes.
And the only thing between you and the SUV as you looked out was the lawn.
Correct.
There's no ditches or hills in that lawn. It's a flat lawn, correct?
I wasn't looking at the ground. I was just kind of looking like I am at you
That's
right
not my
now,
question.
straight.
You know that lawn. You've been to that house 100 times, 500 times. There's no ditches or berms or hills or mountains on that lawn. It's just a flat lawn, right?
I guess you could categorize it as flat, yeah.
Can we take a look? May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. Can you take a look at that
Sure.
photograph for a quick second? Tell me if you recognize it.
I do, yes.
What do you recognize that as being?
34 Fairview.
That's the same photograph with just a little modification on it that you saw a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that that be marked as identification.
Okay.
Wish to publish?
Not for identification, no.
I'm happy to move it into evidence.
Your Honor, if I may, if it's marked for identification, I wouldn't object to showing it.
Okay. All right.
It's a chalk at this point.
There's a chalk.
May I publish?
The
Yes.
term chalk appears. Who calls it a chalk?
May I approach?
Yes.
Apparently Massachusetts does.
Thank you.
No?
I've never heard the term chalk before this case.
Thank you. What's depicted in that photograph?
34 Fairview.
Do you see the front door that you went in?
I do, yes.
Can you point it out for the jurors, please?
Sure.
Can we get some bingo going? As it happens, yes, we can get some bingo going. We're developing a bingo card together, and we will have bingo in the near future. So yes, we will have bingo. In fact, how are we doing on the bingo card? Are we doing good? We could just have a demo run without like prizes, just to see how it goes. Let's get the bingo card going. No prizes today, but let's just get it going. In the future, we'll use bingo cards for a giveaway. But let's just do it as a demo run today and see how it goes. I think this is a good idea. Let's do this.
Up to it.
Yes.
Now, with this perspective, can you point out the side door?
Sure.
That looks like a screen door just to the right of the hedges.
Yes.
With that perspective, can you point out the garage door?
Or that one. Sorry.
That's just to the right of the window inside that recess of the home?
Yes.
Okay. And does that fairly and accurately depict the lawn as it was on January 28th, 29th, other than the fact that it's different weather?
Right.
The shape of the lawn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We can take that down, Mr. Wolf.
So what was that marked as, Madam Court Reporter? Thank you.
Your Honor, I would ask to move that in evidence. If we need to take a minute on that, I'm happy to, but that is my request.
Is there an issue?
No, I won't object.
Okay.
46.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
The first time you looked out over that lawn to the SUV, you did not see John O'Keefe, did you?
No, I did not.
He was not outside that SUV.
No.
He was not standing or sitting.
Not that I saw.
He certainly wasn't on the ground, was he?
Not that I saw.
The second time you looked out and saw the SUV, now the SUV is more toward the flagpole, correct?
Yes.
And you had a clear field of view between you standing at that door and the SUV. You've already described that view, correct?
I can see the SUV, correct.
Correct. And you could see everything in front of the SUV as well, couldn't you?
I just would go to the door and look at the SUV. I wasn't taking in all the surroundings of.
Right. But just like you weren't taking in the surroundings, specifically looking at the tire tracks, and you saw the SUV standing, or sitting right in front of you, you saw that through your peripheral vision, you know the tire track.
Yes, and that's lighted where around the SUV it was very dark.
I haven't asked you about lighting yet. We'll get to that.
I'm
You
sorry.
noted tire tracks, even though you weren't looking for tire tracks, right?
Yes, I did.
Something stood out to you in your peripheral vision. Just looking out. There they are.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
That second time you looked directly at the SUV with no obstruction between you and the SUV, you did not see John O'Keefe standing outside the SUV.
No,
He wasn't sitting down.
no,
He wasn't lying down.
no,
You certainly did not see his body in the snow toward that flagpole.
no.
And you would have been looking directly toward that flagpole, correct? Directly.
I was looking at the vehicle.
Directly toward the flagpole, Miss McCabe.
I was looking in the direction of the flagpole
Right.
at the vehicle, yes.
Right. And you saw no body in the snow, did you?
I didn't look for a body in the snow.
I didn't ask you if you looked for one. You weren't looking for tire tracks either, were you? But you saw those.
I did see those, yes.
And you did not see a body in the snow.
No, I did not.
John O'Keefe, 6'2", 216 pounds, brawny guy, big boy, right?
I don't think I'd refer to him as a big boy, but he was tall, yes.
All right. You certainly didn't see him prostrate in the snow the way you found him the next morning, correct? Later that morning,
I didn't see anything on the ground, no.
correct? The third time you looked out toward that SUV, it's still in the direction of the flagpole, but a little further up, a little deeper to the right, correct?
Yes.
1999 from my good friend of yours, Nate the Lawyer. Thanks, man. Hey, bro, just wanted to show my best friend some love. I've been so busy. Keep making it happen later. Signed, Bowling King. Thank you. Nate the Lawyer and I, in fact, went bowling the other day. And we had fun with the bowling. And he beat me, although we were both pretty terrible, but we had fun. Thank you so much for the super chats. Appreciated.
Again, looking directly in the direction, at least, of the flagpole and that area of the yard, you were looking beyond that to the SUV, correct?
Yes.
You did not see John O'Keefe standing outside the vehicle?
I did not, no.
He was not sitting outside the vehicle,
No.
and he certainly wasn't lying on the ground, was he?
I didn't see him.
And the last time you looked out, Miss McCabe, this is now 12:45 or so, the last time you looked out, the SUV was gone. Is that right?
Yes.
But you were still looking in that direction because that's the last place you saw the SUV. Is that right?
I looked out the window like this. I wasn't searching anywhere, but just glanced out the window, and I didn't see it.
I'm just asking you a direction. Not whether or not you were searching. I know you didn't send out a search party. That's not my question. My question is, were you looking toward the area where you last saw the SUV around 12:45 a.m.?
Yes.
That would be directly across the lawn, directly past the flagpole, and directly into the street where you last saw the SUV, correct?
I glanced out, yes, correct.
And the same way you glanced out at the SUV, to use your words, glanced out and saw the tire tracks, right?
Correct, yes.
But you did not see John O'Keefe standing on the lawn.
No,
You did not see him sitting on the lawn.
no,
And you certainly did not see his body lying on the lawn, did you?
no, no, I did not.
Ultimately, you left the location that night, the gathering, at 34 Fairview. Is that right? You didn't spend the night there?
No, I went home.
About what time was it that you left the location?
Approximately, it was after 1:30. Approximately 1:30, 1:45.
So this is maybe an hour later, later than what we've just been discussing.
Yes.
Seeing the SUV. Who did you leave with?
I left with my husband, Matt, and Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson.
Who was driving?
Sorry, my husband, Matt, was driving.
And where was Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel sitting in that SUV?
Matt, if you're out there and you need help, I just want to let you know there are people who care about you. You can send me an email at any time. You can crash on my couch. Anything I can do to help, man, we're here for you.
They were in the back seat.
By the way, what kind of SUV were you in that night?
A Yukon.
four-door
yeah, big-
extended seating?
Yes,
When the SUV pulled out of the drive, it was in the driveway?
yes.
When the SUV backed out of the driveway, doing a three-point turn, backed out of the driveway, did it go toward Chapman or did it go toward Cedar Crest?
It went towards Chapman.
So as you backed out of the driveway, you would have been heading toward the flagpole side of the property rather than back toward the driveway side of the property, correct?
Correct.
You would have driven directly adjacent to the area where John O'Keefe's body was later discovered at 6:04, 6:03 a.m., correct?
Yes, correct.
You were seated in the passenger seat of the vehicle, not the driver's seat.
Correct.
You were seated in the front of the vehicle, not the back seat.
Correct.
You would have been closest to the yard as y'all drove past, correct?
Correct.
That's a newer model Yukon. I'm assuming that the headlights automatically turn on at night.
Yes.
So the headlights were illuminated.
Yes.
Did your husband Matt, did he turn on the brights or did he leave the beams on low? Or do you know?
I don't know.
But certainly the area in front of that SUV, that Yukon, was well lit.
The lights were on, yes.
You did not see anything out of the ordinary as you drove right by that location, did you?
I was looking in the back seat when we were driving.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary on that lawn as you drove by in that SUV?
No, because I wasn't looking at the lawn.
You certainly did not see John O'Keefe dressed in dark clothing laying prostrate in the lawn.
No, I did not.
You said that you were turned around talking to the other young ladies in the SUV, Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson. Is that right?
Yes.
You indicated that you were engaged with them about a conversation having to do with bread and maybe peanut butter or something.
Yes.
You didn't, as you passed by that location adjacent to where John's body was later discovered, you didn't hear Julie Nagel say anything out of the ordinary about having seen something.
No.
You didn't hear Sarah Levinson say anything out of the ordinary about having seen something.
No.
You were turned around, directly engaged with both these young ladies as you passed by that area where John's body was later discovered. Is that right?
When we pulled out, I turned around and I was talking to them about the bread and the peanut butter. I'm not sure exactly where we were driving, but it was when we pulled out, yes.
You certainly never heard anybody say anything like, what was that, or anything close to that.
No, I didn't.
I'd like to turn your attention to your arrival back at 34 Fairview just after 6 a.m. the next morning. You indicate that the visibility was relatively poor and that you could not see John O'Keefe on that lawn from your perspective, correct?
The visibility was extremely poor, and no, I could not see him.
You were in the front seat, passenger side.
Yes, I was.
It was Karen Reed who actually saw Mr. O'Keefe, jumped out of the car, and began attending to him immediately, correct?
Karen got out of the car and ran to John O'Keefe.
And you stayed by the car, and Miss Roberts ran over to assist Miss Reed in giving first aid to, at least initially, to Mr. O'Keefe. Is that right?
No, that is not. Carrie got out and walked over, and then I got out and walked over.
You indicated that well, let me ask a different question. Yesterday, you testified in pretty significant detail that when you got out of the car, you could not see anything even close to the flagpole, correct?
Visibility was very bad, yes.
Matter of fact, you used the word whiteout conditions. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Whiteout conditions, you basically can't see your hand in front of your face.
I wouldn't say that extreme, but I used whiteout as there's just snow coming at you.
You were specifically asked by Mr. Brennan, how close did you have to get before you could actually see anything of note where Miss Reed had gone? Is that right?
Yes.
You testified yesterday that you could see just merely shadowy figures of Miss Reed and Carrie Roberts, and it wasn't until you got very close over to them that you could see John, in your words.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, you followed that up by saying that that was the first moment, once you got basically on top of them, that was the first moment that you realized that it was John, that there was a body on the ground, correct?
I said as I got close to them, I don't think on top of them.
Fair enough. It's my words, not yours. You did say, quote, very close to them, correct?
I'd have to see it, but
Well, you just
it was
testified to
when-
it yesterday. If you remember saying, I could get very close to them.
I know I said I had got very close to them or close to them, something like that,
Okay.
yes.
I don't have a transcript of yesterday's testimony, I'm sorry. Last year, you testified to something very different than that, though, didn't you?
No.
Isn't it true that last year you testified that you got out on the passenger side of the vehicle, which is, we'll agree, the furthest side from the lawn, as Ms. Roberts was driving from Chapman toward Crestview, Cedar Crest, correct?
Yes.
You testified that you were on the passenger side, and as you got out of the vehicle, you noted that Karen Reed was already at John. Is that right?
As I got out and walked around the back of the vehicle, the shadowy figure of Karen had already
The
gotten
shadowy
onto
figure.
something.
You further
Shadowy
testified
figure.
that as you got out of the vehicle, you noted that she straddled John, lifted up his shirt, lifted up her shirt, and went to lay on him. And Miss Roberts went over and said started removing snow from John's face. Correct?
Do I have the page and line number?
Where are you,
Sure.
Mr. Jackson?
May 17, 2024, RT 114, lines 14 to bottom, onto 115, line 4. Is that how you testified last year?
I'm sorry, would you mind just repeating it?
Sure.
Thank you.
You testified in substance that you were on the passenger side of the vehicle, and as you got out, quote, as I got out, end quote, she, Miss Reed, was already at John. You indicated that you saw her straddle him, lift up his shirt, lift up her shirt, and lay on top of him while Miss Roberts went over and removed snow from his face. That's how you testified last year, correct?
Object.
Is that how you testified last year?
I'm not sure. I know,
Next question.
Would it refresh your recollection if you were to look at a copy of your testimony from last year?
Oh my
I
God, we're
don't
not
think
going to.
looking at it would refresh my memory. I know I might have used different words, but the bottom line is I got out of the car, went behind the car, went over, and Karen had done that.
Ms. McCabe, I'm asking, do you think it would refresh your, if you don't have a good recollection of how you testified last year, on your own,
No. Say no.
sitting on that witness stand? I'm asking, do you think it would
Say no.
let you see your
Say
transcript?
no.
I don't need to see my transcript. I know what I know and I know what I remember. So
That's not my question. I'm not asking you what you remember now. I'm asking you how you testified a year ago, ma'am.
whether I said it was as we're fighting over silly words, whether I said as I got out of the car, we were there.
Words matter. They matter a lot.
Okay, so remember, Mr. Jackson, no comments. Ms. McCabe, can you answer his question?
Okay.
Do you remember exactly how it is that you testified last year?
I do not know.
May I approach?
Yes.
Say it doesn't refresh your memory. Do it. Say it doesn't refresh it.
Thank you.
Just say no. You have nowhere really left to go after that if it doesn't refresh your memory. And that doesn't refresh my memory. Nope. Although I do have to agree on balance with Jen, which is not my favorite thing to do. But I do have. Where's my pause button? Where's the stream coming from? There it is. I do have to agree with Jen on balance, because this is sort of what I was saying. Like it's just, there's just no way you're gonna use the exact same words every single time. We're like, we're not machines, man. We're just not machines. And I just, it does feel like we're fighting over not much. It just feels like something very, very small. Just say no. It doesn't refresh your memory. He has nowhere to go after that. Just say no.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection as to how you testified in substance last year?
I see what it says I said, but it's a little bit different than what you stated.
Okay, then let's walk through that. Did you indicate last year that as you got out of the vehicle, that's when you could see what Ms. Reed was doing with John O'Keefe, down to the detail of pulling her shirt up and pulling his shirt up to try to go skin to skin?
I object. And
Why don't I see it sidebar? Why don't you bring it with you, Mr.
Up,
Jackson?
sidebar. Yeah. I mean, honestly, no is probably the right answer, to be quite honest. Because the transcript really remind you about exactly what you said a year ago? Will it actually remind you? Or are you just basing it off the transcript? Because that's not the same thing. You can't see? Sorry, my fault. Please enjoy more of Uncivil. Lol.
Close to John. Is it true that you had the following colloquy last year on this subject? Answer: I was on the passenger side, so as I got out, she was already at John. Question: so she gets out and essentially makes a beeline over to where John was. Answer: correct. Question: and you're getting out of the passenger side, and by the time you come around the car, she's already there. Answer: yes. Question: and when she gets over there, what, if anything, could you see at that?
Transcript will refresh memory of exact testimony? I doubt it. The transcript is gonna actually refresh your memory about exactly what you said? Or are you just basing it off what the transcript said? Yeah, I don't know.
That point. Answer: she straddles John and lifts up his shirt. And then she lifted up her shirt and went to lay on him. And Miss Roberts went over and she was removing the snow from his face. Is that how you testified last year?
Yes,
I
that's
don't
how I
know.
answered the questions.
Okay. Clearly, you didn't indicate last year that it was whiteout conditions, you could see nothing of the kind, and you had to get, quote unquote, very close to him before you could see anything, correct?
objection.
Sustained. It's the first word that's problematic, Mr. Johnson.
Yesterday, you testified that it was whiteout conditions. You had to leave the car, walk all the way over and get, quote unquote, very close to John before you recognized that it was even a body. Is that right?
Yes.
But last year, you testified that you were still at the car when you noted the detail of Karen basically giving life-saving aid to John. You can see that clearly, all the way from the car, correct?
Objection.
Is that what you said, Ms. McCabe?
No.
Is there a reason, Ms. McCabe, that you might wish to improve your testimony this year than last year, over last year, with regard to the distance that you could see Ms. Reed engaged with Mr. O'Keefe?
No.
Are you trying to suggest or improve your testimony to suggest that you had no idea that there was a body there and nobody reasonably could have even seen the body there as you drove up?
Objection.
Is that what you're trying to say, Ms. Reed?
Ms. McCabe.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Not sure. I'll give it a shot.
I'm sorry.
Are you trying to improve your testimony this year over last year to suggest that reasonably nobody could have seen where John was from the car?
No.
I'm not.
What you're trying to do?
I'm not trying to improve my testimony. No.
You claimed on direct examination today, as a matter of fact, that Ms. Reed looked at you at the scene and said the phrase, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." She said it 3 times, very distinctly, according to your testimony, correct?
She did. Yes.
That was so impactful that it had the effect of putting you in some sort of shock and horror. Is that right?
I was in shock the whole morning, but that statement definitely was a lot.
And that's an incredibly memorable statement for you to have heard and now recount to us in this trial, correct?
Correct.
Something that you wouldn't easily forget or overlook. Is that right?
Something I wouldn't.
Something you would not easily
Correct.
forget or overlook. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
As a matter of fact, some might say it's the centerpiece of your testimony.
Objection.
Sustained.
Ms. McCabe, you testified at a grand jury in April of 2022, did you not?
I did. Yes.
Before you testified, you took an oath, very much like the oath that you took
Oh, my
before you
God.
testified in this case, correct?
Correct.
You swore
Oh,
to tell
my
the truth, the whole
God.
truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, correct?
Correct.
And that included the whole truth at the state grand jury, correct?
Correct.
That was only weeks, several weeks, but weeks after this incident, right? April 26th versus January 29th, 2022. Is that right?
Correct.
Things
Yes.
were much fresher in your mind then than they are now.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Especially something as momentous as an admission from my client that she hit him. Would you agree?
Would I agree that she said that?
Would you agree that that would be fresh in your mind? Something as momentous as that. You wouldn't forget that.
I will never forget it.
You wouldn't overlook that.
I will never forget it.
You would not overlook that either, would you, Ms. McCabe?
I answer the questions I'm asked.
Can you answer the question that I just asked? You're not answering my question. Would you overlook that?
No.
And the reason you wouldn't overlook it is because it was so impactful on you, having heard that. Not once, not twice, 3 times. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Is that right?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a look at that document and tell me if you recognize it.
It's, yes, I see it.
Is that a transcript of your entire testimony at the grand jury in April of 2022?
I believe
She has
so,
no idea.
yes.
You've reviewed it in the past?
I have read it about a year ago, yes.
You read it in anticipation of your testimony a year ago, correct?
Yes, I reviewed it.
Have you reviewed it in preparation for your testimony today?
No, I haven't.
Yesterday. Ms. McCabe, turn to the page or pages in that transcript where you recount to the grand jurors that my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
This is over 227 pages.
Take your time.
How long did you say it was, Ms. McCabe?
227?
I'm not going to let her read 227 pages.
You reviewed it before, haven't you?
Again, I'm not sure.
Ms. McCabe, you were asked in your grand jury testimony no fewer than a dozen times, 12 separate times, you were asked to repeat words that my client said both before, going to, and at the scene.
All right, so this is meaningful, right? This is a meaningful point. So he's gone from something that doesn't really mean anything, like with these like little slight details, right? This is a much more meaningful point. This is the kind of thing I was trying to tell you guys about repeatedly, like where the juice is worth the squeeze and where the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? Is it really worth the squeeze about exactly how they entered? Is it like really worth it? This is an example where it's worth it, right? She was asked 12 times under oath in front of a grand jury about words from the client, and she never said I hit him under oath. Like, and that was supposed to be something that's really impactful. So that's a discrepancy you spend some time with. This is the kind of thing you should spend time on. This is the kind of thing, and the problem is, I've been trying to tell you, the problem is that by highlighting everything, you highlight nothing. So you have to make tactical decisions about where to spend time. You can't chase everything because it just doesn't work. And then when you get to something that matters, you can't emphasize it because you've been trying to emphasize it because you've been trying to emphasize everything. And so this is the kind of thing that you want to spend time on. This is the kind of thing you want to highlight on because this distinction matters. Because this is such an impactful statement and she never said it before, and that's a huge deal. So, that's what I think.
34 Fairview that morning, correct?
Objection.
Do you know the answer to that?
No.
You were asked multiple times what my client's words were that you heard her say going to and at the scene, correct?
I was correct.
And you recounted those words truthfully and honestly at that time, correct?
Correct.
Because you were under the same oath that you're under today.
Correct.
Sorry, you
And
can't see
things
her
were
behind.
much fresher in your mind then than they are now 3.5 years later. Would you agree with that?
I hit him is just as fresh today as it was 3 years ago.
Turn to page 190, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
For court and counsel lines 10 and 11.
This is where we spend time. This is a better way of spending time right now.
Which lines? I'm sorry.
10 and 11.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You recounted what Ms. Reed said to you over the phone to the grand jurors, correct?
Correct.
And what she said at 4:53 a.m. was, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? She didn't say it. She asked it, correct?
She didn't say that at 4:53.
Did you testify that what Ms. Reed said to you that morning over the phone was, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
Yes, I did.
May I approach?
Yes.
May I? Oh, sure. Just wanted to verify a page number, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes. don't you tell Mr. Brennan the page number?
I will, with each one. If you turn to page 192. Line 4. What did you tell the grand jurors my client said in that answer?
Foundation.
What are we talking about?
I'll ask it a different way. Did you answer a question on page 192, line 4, concerning my client's statement?
Did I answer a question?
You were answering a question, correct?
Oh, yes, yes.
All right.
I'm sorry.
And the answer that you gave to the grand jurors was, she said, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, that's part of the answer I gave.
Turn to page 193.
I'd object.
So I don't want to have to see it sidebar. We need context in order for this to be admissible, Mr. Jackson. I have no idea what that said.
Your Honor, everyone,
The answer.
I can make an offer of proof at sidebar, if you wish.
Okay, why don't you come to sidebar?
Sure.
And bring them.
May I approach the witness?
Yes. Do you have an extra copy for yourself,
I have
Mr.
notes.
Jackson?
I have
Okay,
notes.
thank you.
I think my notes will suffice. On page 192, line 4, for context, were you talking about a statement that was made in Karen's car on that morning before you got to the scene?
192.
192, line 4.
Yes, that was a comment you made in the car.
And she said the phrase, you recounted that she said the phrase, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, that was part of my answer.
Take a look at page 193, line 1 through 2. This was also in the context of a conversation that was in Karen's car, correct?
Yes.
And the phrase that you attributed to my client was, could I have hit him? The question, correct?
Yes.
Page 193, line 23. In the context of being in John's driveway at One Meadows,
Yes.
and you attributed the statement, and she's asking if she could have hit him, correct?
Yes, when she showed me her taillight.
Page 201, lines 23 and 24. This is driving to Fairview. she asked, what if I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
Can you tell me the lines?
I'm sorry, lines 23 and 24. Page 201.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I've read it.
She stated, according to you, what if I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, she did.
Page 202, top of the page, line 1 and 2. Again, in context, this is driving to Fairview, before you arrived at Fairview. And she again asked, quote, according to you and your testimony in front of the grand jury, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, I see that here as part of my answer.
Then turn to page 208, lines 24 and 25.
I'm sorry, what lines 24 and 25?
Lines 24 and 25, let me know when you've
I've read them, thank
reviewed
you.
those. For context, this is at the scene, outside Fairview.
Yes,
And you told those grand jurors under oath, she asked, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
yes,
On page 208, lines 24 and 20, I'm sorry, 208 and 209, going on to page 209, lines 1 through 3. You actually recounted to the grand jurors a conversation that you said my client had with a female EMT standing right there, exactly as you testified to today. Female EMT. You see that?
I do, yes.
And what did you say my client's statements were in front of that female EMT?
In this, I say that she said, could I have hit him? Is he dead?
It's actually, did I hit him?
Oh, sorry, I missed that part. I apologize. Did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead?
And that was at the scene in front of the female EMT, exactly the scene that you're describing. You attributed the 3 statements to my client to today, right?
There was many different times when we were talking to different EMTs, the female EMT, the men, police officers.
May I approach?
Yes.
Yeah, just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. McCabe, your full statement at page 208, starting at lines 22 through 25, going on to page 209, down to line 4, was, quote, so there are different, police officers getting statements from us. And at one point, I'm standing with Miss Reed, and she's saying, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? And there was, I believe, an EMT, a female, standing right next to me, listening to her yelling, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? It was pretty nonstop, pretty much nonstop. That was your testimony in front of the grand jurors, correct?
Yes, it was.
And that was April 26th, 2022, correct?
Correct.
Not one time. Not one time, Ms. McCabe, did you utter the phrase, I hit him, as it relates to my client in front of that grand jury on April 26, 2022, did you? Not once.
I'd have to read through the 227 pages to see.
As you sit here today, do you remember ever saying to those grand jurors, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, in front of a female EMT?
I've spoken to in a few grand juries. What I said specifically at different ones, I don't recall at this moment, but I do know that morning your client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him 3 times, and there was a female EMT there.
You spoke with Trooper Proctor just the same day, right? January 29th.
Yes.
Trooper Proctor was taking notes
Yes.
about your conversation?
Yes, he was.
You reviewed those notes, as a matter of fact, at some point.
I didn't review his notes. I think I've seen a report at one point or another.
On that very day, January 29th, 2022, when you were asked to recount what happened at the scene, who was doing what and who said what, you never told Trooper Proctor that my client said, I hit him either, did you?
Oh, I told him. Yes, I did.
He just leave that out of his report?
I'm not responsible for his report.
No, you're not. But you have read his report.
Objection.
So again, no comments, Mr. Jackson.
You have read his report, right?
I have seen it before, yes.
May I approach her?
Yes.
Thank you.
You looked at that report for another particular this morning. Do you still recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Can you review that report, scan it, and let me know when you're done?
Okay, is there something specific I should be looking for?
I don't think you're going to find it, Ms. McCabe.
All
I hit
right,
him.
so again, jurors disregard the comments. So it's question, answer format only.
My question is, do you see the phrase, I hit him, as it's attributable to my client in that report?
Objection.
System.
Do you recall telling Trooper Proctor that my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
Objection.
Do you recall that?
Yes, I told him.
He was taking notes at the time.
He was taking notes, correct?
Those notes ended up being memorialized in a formal report.
I'm assuming he,
The report that you're holding.
I object.
Sustained.
Does that appear to be a report of the January 29th, 11:35 or so a.m. interview that you did with Trooper Proctor?
yes, it does.
You said you reviewed that report in the past,
Yes, in the past.
and you're aware in no place in that report does the phrase "I hit him" show up anywhere, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Can I approach?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to approach the witness. Sorry, Mr. Brennan. I'm sorry. I'm being vague. I was just grabbing the report back. Sorry. May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
I want to draw your attention to the very early morning hours of January 29th, around 4:53 a.m. when you indicated you received that phone call from Kaylee's phone. Do you have that time and date in mind?
Yes, I do.
my client told you that John had not come home, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that Miss Reed at that point was awake and looking for John?
I didn't know what, I just knew that she was awake and screaming.
Right, because she was worried about where John was.
Objection.
Sustained.
You've been asked who you communicated with first thing that morning after you received that first call from Miss Reed, is that right?
Yes.
You were asked by Trooper Prince in her formal interview. Trooper Prince interviewed you on February 1st, about 3 days after the incident, correct?
I've met with a lot. I don't really remember specific days.
Do you remember a female trooper?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay. In your house?
Yes.
Or I should say at your house?
Yes.
That was around 3 days after the incident?
Was it Tuesday, maybe? Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I think so, yes, if
Okay.
it's the one I'm thinking.
You were also asked at the same grand jury who you communicated with on the morning of January 29th.
Okay.
You remember that?
Not specifically.
Would it refresh your recollection if we were to take a look at that, a specific page of that grand jury transcript?
Sure.
According to Kestrel, it looks like the victim's brother was moved. It looks like he was perhaps in the front row earlier today, and perhaps he has been moved to a further back row. So that, I think, might be some of what was happening during the unexpected break earlier today, relating to, because we saw from the reporting that was available that they met with like the victim's family and stuff. So I think therefore it seems like it has something to do with the seating arrangements. Yeah, I think that's what was going on. Interesting stuff.
Do you need a couple of minutes, Mr. Jackson?
I do, Your Honor.
So, jurors, why don't you stand up and stretch, okay? You can too, Ms. McCabe, if you want to.
Thanks.
Actually, it's a pretty good idea for me too. I could use a stretch, man. I could use a stretch big time. It's been that kind of day, man. Let's take a stretch. Take a stretch. Ow. Mm. Mm. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne. It's been a day, man. It's been a day. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. You have your choice of LawTuber. We do appreciate you spending some time with me. Let me make sure I've read super chats that have come in because I think I've missed some today or haven't responded to necessarily all of them. So let's see what came in that I have not been responding to. Jen Decker, member for 17 months. Someone told Jen to have a little bit more personality today. $5 Canadian from DCD Fuzzed. I suggest a snake oil salesman, but that'd be disrespectful snake oil saleswoman. Nathan Lord gifted $19.99, and Jen Decker did $5 to say every time I look up, there's a different character description with a laughing emoji, which is appreciated. Thank you. Have I finished a playthrough of Schedule 1? No, I'm still playing. Is there an end to the game? I didn't even know if there's an end to the game. I've recruited my third dealer. I was having trouble producing enough methamphetamine to keep my dealers going. So at the moment, I'm just going back to marijuana, which seems like that's more productive. And I'm trying now to save money so that I can buy, I bought the post office for money laundering. So I got that going on. And I'm trying to save money for the taco thing so that I can money launder there. And that sort of is what we're doing right now in terms of the game. I'm not really still sure how to really effectively use the chemist in terms of making marijuana and stuff, but or compounds of marijuana. But at the moment, we're just making one kind, and just I tried also the drying racks, but that didn't really seem to do anything in terms of my profit margin. So I'm just kind of foregoing the drying racks right now. Weed is illegal in Texas. It is. It's a game. One of the clues was talking about me recruiting dealers and talking about not able to produce enough methamphetamine. Probably not talking about real life. Yeah. Don't over dry. Yeah, I dried it to the max. Was that not what I was supposed to do? Was I not supposed to dry it to the max? Yeah, I don't know what I was supposed to do. I thought, more would be better. I don't know. I'm not really much of a drug dealer, turns out. Who knew?
Back in session, you may be seated.
All right, you all set, Mr. Jackson?
I am, thank you.
All right, we're bringing the jurors over. Are we still on schedule?
We are.
Okay.
But at the moment, we're getting enough revenue from just standard run-of-the-mill marijuana, so seems to be going okay. Fan go up, fan go down. Fan go up, fan go down.
This court is in session. Please be seated.
All right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McCabe, I want to draw your attention back to the morning, later in the morning, after you're back at 34 Fairview, after the police have already cleared the scene, and you're back with your friends and family inside the home at 34 Fairview. We've already talked about the fact that the witnesses were not sequestered in any way, they were not separated in any way by the police. Is that right?
We were just sitting together with friends
Right.
and family, so yeah, no.
Everybody was free, all the friends and family that were in there were free to talk amongst themselves, which you did do, correct?
Yes.
All right. Everybody had the opportunity to say their piece and to listen to others say their piece as well.
We had conversations. It wasn't really nothing more than that.
At some point, you did, I think you mentioned this on direct examination, you did reach out to Mike Lank. Is that right?
Yes.
Remind us who Mike Lank is in your world, in addition to being a Canton police officer, police sergeant, I think he was at the time. Who is he in your world?
He was just a local guy that I, knew, was friendly with.
And had gone to high school with?
No.
Was he ahead of you in high school?
We weren't in high school at the same time.
Got it. He was about 5 years ahead of you, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. But you'd known him, or known of him, from basically childhood or young adulthood.
Yeah, just knew him from around town.
At some point, you decided that you were going to call Sergeant Lank back to the scene because there was a piece of information that you wanted to provide him again. Sorry, provide him so he needed to come back again.
Yes.
Ultimately, you called him on his cell phone, right?
I did, yes.
So you were close enough that you had his cell phone number, he had your cell phone number.
No, I didn't have his cell phone number.
Where'd you get that number?
I asked Julie Albert for that number.
So Julie had his cell phone number.
Yes, she did.
And Julie is Chris's wife?
Yes.
She was at the location?
Yes.
When I say the location, 34 Fairview that morning?
Yes.
As was Chris.
He came at some point. I don't know if he was there when I called Officer Lank or not.
As was Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes, he was.
He came back over to the location as well.
Yes, he did.
As a matter of fact, it was Brian Higgins who suggested that you reach out to Officer Lank.
I'm not sure if it was him who suggested it.
Someone suggested to you that you reach out to Officer Lank, is that right?
As I was sitting there remembering things, I believe, I can't say who did or didn't.
So as you were sitting there remembering things, you weren't just remembering things, you were remembering things and then telling others things that you remembered.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes.
others were absorbing whatever information you were providing to them and vice versa.
No one was really providing me any information because they didn't know what happened.
So you were, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just sitting there trying to recount what had transpired since I got that 4:53 phone call.
And one of the things that you decided you wanted to tell Sergeant Lank was a statement by my client.
Yes.
So you call Sergeant Lank on his cell phone, and you're able to get a hold of him, correct?
Yes.
Whatever he's doing, I'm guessing he was busy at the time.
I don't know what he was doing.
He was the first responder on a death of a police officer case that was just hours old. So he had to have been busy.
I would assume. I, again, don't know what he was doing.
But in fact, after you got your phone call, you dropped everything and headed back to 34 Fairview, correct?
Objection.
Assisting.
Did he come back to 34 Fairview quickly?
He was there fairly quickly, yes, I would
At
say.
your request.
Yes, I called him and asked him to come back.
Because you told him that you had information that was important enough that he needed to get over there so you could tell him in person what this new information was.
I called him and told him that I was remembering things and asked if he could come back.
And he didn't just say, yeah, just tell me what it is over the phone. He literally said, okay, I'm going to get in my car, drive in a blizzard. There's still a blizzard, right?
Yes, it was.
I'm going to get all my gear on, drive in a blizzard back over to 34 Fairview, get out of my cruiser, come into the house, and get ready for this new information that you're going to give me. Correct?
He did not say all that, no.
No, that's what he did.
I have no idea what he did. I called him and then he came.
Well, he didn't
That's,
walk over. I mean, he came over in his car, right?
I would
I don't
assume
know.
so, yes.
Right. So he had to get in his car, drive over to Blizzard, get out of the car, walk through the Blizzard, go to the front door, and get ready for this new meeting that he's going to have, correct?
Yes, that seems like steps one would take.
And whatever it was that you wanted to tell him, you let him know it was important enough to have a special additional meeting. It wasn't something that you were just going to sit on. You wanted to give him this information immediately without hesitation, correct?
He said if I remembered anything to give him a call, so I did.
So when he came back over, he obviously had a notepad and a pen in his hand, correct?
I believe he was taking notes.
And you told him, you testified this morning that what you told him was Karen Reed said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, right?
Correct.
But when he wrote this report, you said, she said, I hope I didn't hit him. Correct?
I don't have his report in front of me.
Yeah, just wondering.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You could turn to the orange tab. Do you see that?
I do, yes.
Okay, and you've had a chance to read it?
Just the highlighted
Okay.
part.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. In fact, what you told Officer Lank was something to the effect of, I hope I didn't hit him. Correct?
Incorrect. I told him that she said I hit him.
He wrote in his report, that you just read, something to the effect of,
Sustained.
I hope I didn't hit him.
Sustained.
Is this another example of an officer getting a report wrong?
Objection.
Is that report right?
Your Honor. Objection.
Sustained. Move on, Mr. Jackson.
I hope I didn't hit him, or something to the effect of, I hope I didn't hit him. Sounds an awful lot like, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Do you agree with that?
It does sound similar, yeah.
You testified yesterday that during that first phone call, that first phone conversation with Ms. Reed at 4:53 a.m., she told you, according to your testimony, that in that phone call, in that very first phone call, Ms. Reed said she had gotten into a fight, her taillight was cracked, and she asked, could I have hit him or did I hit him? Correct?
Incorrect.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
In the first phone call, she had said we got into a fight and he didn't come home and I left him at the waterfall. In the second phone call, once I told her that I saw her outside of my sister's house on Fairview, that is when she said, could she have hit him, and talked about her taillight.
So, 2 hours after Ms. Reed found John O'Keefe and began giving him CPR, you were interviewed by Sergeant Sean Good, correct?
Objection.
Ask the question differently, Mr. Jackson.
2 hours after Ms. Reed found Mr. O'Keefe, about 2 hours later, say 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, after the scene was cleared, you were interviewed by Sean Good, were you not?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
How you guys doing? Man, I'm having a kind of an off day today. We're still trying to work on the bingo thing in terms of potentially using it as a giveaway for later. So we're working on it.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. While you were at the scene, after Miss Reed had been giving CPR, Sean Good interviewed you, correct?
I don't remember a formal interview with Sean Good.
Do you remember talking to him?
When he arrived at the scene, I do remember briefly talking to him after all three of us gave John CPR.
And he asked you certain questions about what you'd seen, what you'd heard, what had happened, correct?
I have to tell you that I remember seeing him there and I remember talking to him, but I do not remember specifics of any conversation or any questions that he asked me.
Do you remember him do you remember him asking you about any initial calls you had and you telling him about that 4:53 call and the early morning calls thereafter? The initial calls before you met up with Miss Reed?
I don't recall.
Did you tell Sergeant Good, by the way, he was a sergeant at the time. Sean Good was a sergeant, not an officer? Okay. By the way, you knew Sergeant Good, did you not?
I didn't know him. I knew of him, like I knew his name, but that was it.
How'd you know of him before that day?
Because his sister is a year or two younger than me, and I knew she had a brother that was younger, that was a Canton cop, just through the town, but I didn't know him.
Okay, friendly but not friends.
I wouldn't even say I was friendly with him.
Okay. You actually told Sergeant Good at the time when he asked about those first phone calls that when Miss Reed called you, she was inquiring about John's whereabouts, correct?
Again, I don't recall my conversations with Sean Good.
You certainly never mentioned to Sergeant Good the incessant screaming and hysteria that you've described here in court.
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you ever mention anything about an argument or a fight to Sean Good?
Objection.
Sustained, Mr. Jackson. She said she didn't remember. Next question.
I have to go through the series of machinations. I don't know what she remembers and doesn't remember.
Next question, Mr. Jackson.
Did you mention anything about a cracked taillight to Sergeant Good?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you have no memory at all about what you talked to Sergeant Good about?
There were many officers there,
Right.
and like I said, I know I talked to Sergeant Good, but I do not remember the specifics of my conversation during that chaotic scene.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask a different question. There were many officers there, and many officers were asking you questions, correct?
Correct.
Did you did you tell any officer while at the scene that during those first few phone calls, first couple of phone calls with Miss Reed, that there was incessant screaming and hysteria?
Again, there were many officers asking me questions. Most of them were regarding who John was, if he had medical issues or concerns, things like that.
Right.
It was a chaotic scene. I don't remember any specific questions about phone calls. I apologize.
But you did tell at least one officer about the initial phone call that you received indicating that John may be missing, correct?
I possibly said I got a phone call and that's why I'm here. We all came out to look for him. I apologize for not remembering specifics.
Did you tell any officer at the scene anything about an argument or fighting that Miss Reed said occurred on that first couple of phone calls?
Again, the conversations were very brief and they were with a lot of different officers. There wasn't
yes or no?
in-depth conversations.
Yes or no?
Let her answer the question.
Do you recall, that is a yes or no question, do you recall telling any officer about a conversation in the initial couple of phone calls that you had with Miss Reed about fighting or being in an argument? Do you recall that?
I cannot answer yes or no.
Well, you either do or you don't. If you don't,
I said
say
there
you
was
don't.
many different conversations. I am not sure.
So you don't recall.
I'm not sure on specific conversations about that. I apologize.
Is there a reason why you're not telling us that you simply don't recall making that statement?
Sustained.
Do you recall telling any officer about a cracked taillight that came up in one of those first 2 phone calls?
At the scene,
At the scene.
again, I think all the conversations were about what was happening in the present time.
And literally, this was a couple of hours after this incident, correct? When everything was freshest in your mind.
These conversations were at the scene when Miss Reed was running around screaming.
Were you also interviewed by Officer Mullaney?
Again, there were many officers there that I spoke to.
Ms. McCabe, do you understand my question? Did you understand the last question I asked you?
If I spoke to an officer, Mullaney,
Correct.
again, I could have. I am not sure. I don't remember every officer. It was a chaotic scene. I had just found my friend on the ground.
So the answer is, I don't remember. Correct?
I don't remember speaking to him. No, sorry.
Later that morning, you did have a conversation with Officer Lank that you actually do remember, correct?
Yes, correct.
What you told Officer Lank, or Sergeant Lank, was that you received a phone call from Kaylee's phone and that Karen Reed was distraught because John never came home, correct?
I told him she was, I don't remember the exact words, but I told him something like she was hysterical and screaming and said John never came home.
You never mentioned that she said anything about a fight during that initial phone call, correct?
Again, I'm not sure what exactly was.
You know what, guys? I wasn't going to do it, but I need the pick-me-up. I think we're going to do a giveaway. I wasn't planning on doing it because, you know, total fucking tech disasters and all that bullshit. But I think we're going to do a giveaway because I need the pick-me-up and, you know, it'll make me feel marginally better. So we're going to do a giveaway today. Let me set it up and we will do it either in the next break or when she gets off the stand or some point in the next whenever. I think we all deserve it. I think we all deserve some merch giveaway. Yeah.
Was said during that initial phone call.
You never mentioned that she said something about a cracked taillight in that initial phone call or those 2 phone calls, correct?
Are these phone calls with who? Who are these phone calls? Who am I speaking to
The
at this
initial
point?
phone calls that you had with Miss Reed,
Yes.
you never mentioned to Officer Lank or Sergeant Lank that Miss Reed mentioned anything about a fight or an argument, correct?
I don't remember.
You never mentioned anything about having Miss Reed saying anything about a cracked taillight in one of those 2 initial phone calls, correct?
Again, I don't remember all the things that I told Officer Lank.
And you certainly never mentioned that Miss Reed said anything about could I have hit him in either of those initial phone calls, correct?
Again, I don't remember my specific conversation with Officer Lank.
So you don't remember the conversation that you had with Officer Lank when it was the clear light of day, you had a chance to take a beat and a breath, catch your breath, because it's now 11:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. You don't remember anything about that conversation, but according to your testimony, you remember in detail what my client said, waking you out of a dead sleep, correct?
So I didn't speak to him at 11:30. It was earlier in the morning when he came back to Fairview.
Let's call it 9 o'clock, whatever.
Okay.
Right? Whatever. It wasn't the same chaos as my client screaming into the phone that John never came home, waking you out of a dead sleep, correct?
Correct.
But when you recounted that conversation or those conversations to Sergeant Lank, You didn't say a thing about Ms. Reed saying that there had been an argument, did you?
I'm saying I don't remember the specifics of my conversation with Officer Lank. I'm also saying that I was woken up out of a dead sleep. Karen showed up at my house screaming. I went out to help her look for John. And then we found one of my closest friends on the front lawn. And she was saying crazy things and acting crazy and
Ms. McKay,
acting
that's not my
erratic.
question.
And so every
Ms. McKay,
police
that is
officer
not
that
my
I
question.
spoke to,
Let her finish.
every police officer that I spoke to, I tried to answer their questions the best I could. It took me hours and in some cases days to remember all the things that Miss Reed had said. My mind, I was in a state of shock. But the minute I remembered, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. I called Officer Lank.
And your memory's getting better, even as we sit here today, correct?
There are certain things I will never forget, Mr. Jackson.
Including the fact that you never, ever, ever said, she said the words I hit him to a grand jury when you were asked about it 3 months after the incident, correct?
She said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit
You
him.
never told that to the grand jury, did you?
I don't remember specifically that every grand jury and everything I said, but I can tell you with 100% accuracy, she screamed, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
You never said that to the grand jurors.
I don't recall if I
You were
did.
there to get the truth, correct?
The truth is, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
You were asked that specific question at the grand jury. What did she say at the scene in front of the female EMT? And you know what your answer was? You do, because you just read it.
I wasn't asked what she was said at
What
the
was the
scene.
answer to that question?
I'm objecting.
The objection sustained. Ask one more clear question, Mr. Jackson.
What was the answer you gave in answer to the question about what was said by Miss Reed to the EMT, the female EMT at the scene? What did you say she said?
I don't know if I was asked specifically what she said to a female EMT.
All right, we're going to end this now.
Your Honor, may I have one more question?
No.
Go ahead.
I can't end it like this. You said,
Okay,
she
jurors,
said.
ignore the comments of counsel. Ask one question, Mr. Jackson.
You said that she said, could I have hit him? Did I hit him in the presence of the female EMT? That's what you testified to under oath at the grand jury, isn't it?
Yes, because she also said that.
All right.
So, folks, we are done for today. You remember
Thank
tomorrow's
God.
the
I
date
need a
for
break.
another session. So we will see you Friday. Friday is a full day. And I have to give you those questions. You can stay and file out after the jurors, Ms. McKay. Please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation into the case. If you happen to see, hear, or read about the case, please disregard it and let us know, and be very careful with your social media. Have a great night, a good day off tomorrow. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you.
Rise to adjourn.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, indeed. Are we actually done, or is there a surprise hearing? Who knows? We're gonna stay with Spinny Fan for a while and see if we're actually done, or if there's a surprise hearing. To be fair to the judge, I'd be a little bit mad too, because asked and answered, I'd be a little bit pissed. I'll give the judge points where you like. It's like we've been down this road, asked and answered. I mean, at some point, the judge has the right to call it, and I don't think she's wrong for calling it in this situation. I really don't. So I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's my opinion, and get off my lawn.
Session, Ms. Giannetti?
Yep, I knew it. We weren't done.
Mr.
What fuck-
Jackson, I'm not rushing you in any way. I just want to know, how much longer do you think you'll be?
I appreciate that, Your Honor. 10 seconds to end the court's question.
Sure, take your time.
I would expect that I would say an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. Mr. Brennan, do you have any idea how much longer you will be?
With Mrs. McCabe,
Yes.
it depends on how the rest goes, but certainly at this point, 20 minutes or less.
All right, so that will hopefully take us to the lunch and recess, maybe, I mean, the
I think
morning recess or the lunch and recess at most. Do you have, you have witnesses lined up for Friday afternoon?
I do. I have a number of witnesses ready for the next 3-4 days, and I've
Okay.
given notice to them, and I will try to tighten the order tomorrow morning, and I'll let the court and the defense know.
Great. All right. And nothing you need to see me about right now?
Not for the Commonwealth.
All right. We'll see you on Friday.
Wait, there's no court tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow? What did I miss? There's no court tomorrow? Do we have the day off? What happened? There's no court? What? A juror has surgery? Oh. Oh, beach day. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. All right. Well, okay. Well, I have to change the schedule for tomorrow, but I can do that. Cool. Let's do a giveaway now. Oh, hold on. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with the giveaway. I want to do a giveaway, nice bot. Something is wrong. Come on, nice bot. I want to do a giveaway. Don't be mean to Uncivil. Don't be mean to Uncivil. Nightbot can see you, but your chats aren't popping up inside of Nightbot. Do I need to use Chrome or something instead? What the fuck? Hold on. I don't know if the giveaway is going to work. What happened? Why won't the thing work? Okay, this doesn't make any sense. Nightbot is in chat. Wait. It sees messages, but why doesn't it? Okay, this may not work. Okay, so void if this doesn't work for technical reasons. Void where prohibited by law. But we're gonna give it a shot. You have to type in the phrase that I will give you in a second. If you win, you can select item or items up to $20 worth of value from the merch store. You send me an email with the items you want. I send you back a link with those items. You get the item sent to you. Everything is happy. We're going to give it a shot. Void if it breaks. Void where prohibited by law. $20, up to $20 worth of merch. Item or items, up to $20. Shipping is, yeah. All right, well, let's give this a shot. This isn't going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's give it a shot.
Sidebar giveaway.
All right, so your phrase hypothetically to trigger the bot for the entry is the following. Was it snowing January 29th? And if this works, then we'll see. And if not, then I don't know. EB's entered. Okay, it's working. All right, looks like our technical problems are non-existent. Okay, good. So it's accepting entries. Okay, good. It's accepting entries. Yay. All right. So one entry per person. One entry per person. Type in the magic phrase up to $20 of value. Still void if it breaks. Still void where prohibited by law. Up to $20 worth of merch. Blah 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 blah. And we'll give you a second to type in the cool phrase. As you guys contemplate, while you guys are contemplating, of course, let's show you some of the merch that you could win. How do I let me just show you some of the merch you could win so that you can contemplate what you want as you are entering our contest. That sounds like that might be a reasonable use of time. All right. We turn your attention to the wonderful Uncivil Law merch store. This is some of the merch that is available for you. Again, up to $20 worth of item or items. Up to $20 worth of value is at stake. Some of the items you may be able to purchase or win in this case, or purchase in either case. You, of course, can purchase it in any event, and so you might be able to win, depending. We have some Don't Give a Dick shirts and mugs. We've got a Don't Be a Dick Stick It. We've got a Don't Be a Dick tumbler, but that's beyond our price point. We got a Don't Be a Dick shirts. We got some ARCA stuff. We got an ARCA mug, Crave Detention stickers. We got some like ARCA hats, too expensive, but we got a shirt that you could have. That's within the bounds. You could have an Evidence Solo cup. You can't have a bag, too expensive, but you could have a butt dial iPhone case. House Long to Die and Cold, you could have a couple of those stickers. We, of course, have the great You Are Muted, You Are Unmuted cup, which I personally like for your office. That's what the person yesterday wanted. We have some nice mantra buttons. We've got some Sarah Boone merch, although that's going to be taken off the store soon. We got some stickers. We got some uncivilian. We got Frankentruck, a little bit beyond the price point for the giveaway, but for purchase available. We got some mouse pads. We got a Canton PD CSI tool set shirt. That's pretty fun. We got some Evidence Cup stickers. We, of course, got the Evidence Solo Cup for all your evidence collection needs. We've got a purple mat, a purple mug, learning from the misfortunes of others. We got a purple collection mug. That's nice. We got some glasses. We got a cowboy hat. We got, of course, Callie the Beef Fish sticker. Could get a couple of those. Got ourselves Legal Education with an Edge. Got some merch, mug, Being Uncivilian travel mug. What's on page 2? We got some stickers. We got some Beef Fish stickers. Learning from the misfortunes of others. And of course, you could have your very own Callie mug. Wanted for Shenanigans, Callie the Beef Fish wanted poster mug, which I think is pretty cool. Those are some of the items that are available in our merch giveaway. We have 38 entries right now. So your odds of winning are pretty good. You might want to type in the phrase at any time, by the way. You watch for commentary not to see you pedal merch. We're literally doing a giveaway, Brad. Literally doing a merch giveaway. And I'm showing you some of the items you could potentially win. Brad, Unfucking believable. I will give you another 30 seconds to type in the phrase. 1 entry per person. And then we'll call it. All right, let's start a 30-second timer. Timer is running. When the timer goes off, the thing stops. Literally doing a merch giveaway. Lol. All right. All right, let's go ahead and hit the button and see who wins our prize. Miss Mandy Reacts wins our prize today. Miss Mandy Reacts wins a prize. Congratulations on winning your prize. You have won our prize. And all that good stuff is available. So please contact me with what you want, and I will send you a link. All that good stuff. You want the muted unmuted mug? You can have a muted unmuted mug. I will send you the link on Discord, and then you can go from there. All right, great. All right, well, guys, I guess that will bring us to the end of our thing today. Let me go ahead and reschedule. Well, I guess yeah. Thank you for the $20, Edwin. Thank you. Was it open to mods? Yes, it's open to literally everyone who is at least a subscriber. You know, because it's free to be a subscriber. There's no cost of entry. As long as you can type the phrase in chat, it is open to everybody. And there is no benefit to being a member or not. It is even. It's an even draw. Everyone gets an equal chance. Technically, I can make it like biased by certain things, but you know what? Yeah. You know what? Give it to someone else? Really? You sure? You sure, Miss Mandy? I mean, it's open to everybody. You sure? All right. Okay, fine. We'll do a second draw, I guess. All right. All right. Let's see who wins our thing today. Kinlan is our winner then. Kinlan is our winner. Congratulations, Kinlan. Please send me an email at kurt@uncivillawllc.com, kurt@uncivillawllc.com. The email address is in the description of the YouTube and every other channel. Just send me a link. Just send me the item or items you want. Remember, up to $20 worth of value. And I will send you back a link from which will allow you to obtain those items. And then they will be shipped to you courtesy of me and Fourth Wall. So all you have to do is send me an email with the product or products you want, no more than $20 of collective value, and I will send you back a link, and that is available for you. Congratulations, Kinlan. So all that good stuff. Just send me an email with the item or items you want, and I will send you back a link that will give you those items. And that's the deal. It's that easy. All right, great. All right, so all that good stuff. Thank you for doing our merch giveaway, and thank you to Jinx for creating these wonderful merch giveaway things. It's been fun. I'm going to sign off now. I'm tired. So, yeah. I'm gonna sign off now, and I'm tired. I will see you. We might be here tomorrow for like a Supreme Court react, because I've been looking for time to do it. There was a Supreme Court oral argument recently dealing with LGBTQ issues in schools and whether or not parents can opt out of certain readings or not relating to LGBTQ material. So that was at the Supreme Court last week. I've been looking for an opportunity to do it. So we might pop on for 2 hours relating to Supreme Court. So if you like that kind of thing, look for an announcement relating to that. We might do some Supreme Court oral react tomorrow. And then we'll be back on Friday with more trial. I think Friday's a half day, is it not? I think Friday's a half day. So, yeah. I've been on civil law. Until later, my friends, I hope all is well for now. Cheers, my friends, for now, and goodbye. Where is the sign-off button? Holy shit, it's been a day.